So, a piece of wood like this, quartered sapele, I'm going to treat very differently to a piece of this Brazilian rosewood. They both have almost the opposite internal structure. This is a piece of straight grain quarter sawn Brazilian rosewood. It's very stiff along its length. It's nice and stiff across the grain, and in a similar way to this wood here. So I would probably brace this in a similar way, i.e. with not very much bracing. I would kind of let the back plate, the structure of the back plate, do its own thing. Something like this is very different. It's very visually striking, which is one of the big determining factors in why somebody would choose quartered sapele. It does have its own sound, but you have to, because of its grain structure, you have to treat it in a very different way. So I would probably not choose with this piece of wood. You can see that it's a little bit warped, it's a little bit bent. Still perfectly usable, but you've got to treat it in a different way. So I probably wouldn't brace it using this kind of laddered system, because there's not, the ladder brace system is great for kind of cross grain stiffness, but it's not going to give me very much in the way of stiffness along the grain. So the back is going to want to do this kind of thing. So a way around that, and how I would kind of tackle this particular bag, is to either have a kind of ladder brace system with a floating back brace to kind of stiffen it along its length, or I might use something like a lattice, where I've got a series of kind of diamond braces intersecting to create this kind of diamond effect. And the idea being there is that the primary structure is coming from the braces, as opposed to the wood, the tone wood, the sapele itself, which is acting more like a skin, like the skin on a surfboard or an aeroplane wing. I think you can make a great sounding guitar with both of these woods. They both have very different characteristics, but by manipulating the thickness of the plates and by choosing the right bracing pattern, you can really get the most out of this type of wood. So for something like this, I would use a lattice, and I would carve that lattice according to how the back was then responding, as more of a single unit. And you can make a great guitar out of sapele, out of this kind of wood that doesn't look like it would give you very much hope. I think this will make a fantastic sounding guitar. It's amazing what difference putting the braces on and tuning the braces does to a piece of wood like this. So we've also got another interesting back, which is this one. This is some spalted maple. So we've got, this is maple that's actually started to decay, or it was in the process of decaying when the tree was cut up. So this area here is very, very spongy. This is the billet, and it's so soft that you can press into it with your fingernail and you can see an impression. Whereas this is still the maple that's still got its kind of structural integrity intact. So with this guitar, this is what I'm calling the kind of hybrid back system. I wanted to use this piece of wood because it's so visually striking. But because it's so visually striking, because of this kind of spalting, structurally it's not awesome. So we had to come up with a way to reintroduce some structure and to encourage some kind of tonality, to encourage some musicality into the back. So this is actually a laminated back. So we've got the spalted maple on the outside, which is really, really thin. It's almost like a veneer. And then we've combined that with some actually very, very plain wood, which I don't know if you can see inside. Inside the guitar is dark brown. That is some wenge, which is a phenomenal tone wood. Very, very straight grained, very stiff, very evenly stiff across and along the grain. And as I've said, a great tone wood. So we've kind of got this hybrid effect. We've got the show side, we've got the flashy stuff on the outside, but then to give us the kind of tonal response that we want, we've laminated it with some wenge, and it's doing exactly what I want. It's active, it's responsive, you know, tapping the back, I can feel air being pumped and coming out of the sound hole, and I can actually feel it vibrating the top as well. So it's doing exactly what we want. So we get the best of both worlds. We're having our spalted cake and eating it. And I think this is going to be a spectacular guitar, visually and sonically. So that's another thing to think about backs. There you go, the complex world of backs.
Explained very well, thank you.
Well, thanks, Dan.